Para ver la sangre de tu presa, primero debes mesmerizarla para que se aleje de la vista de los demás. Debe ser igual o mayor que la resistencia. Presiona L1 para mesmerizar.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of
Mira.
life and death.
Apropiarse. Presiona X para apropiarse de Clay o al apropiarte de Clay tendrás un impulso enorme de experiencia, pero debes tener cuidado ya que por las consecuencias. Conocer más a los ciudadanos y recuperar pistas aumentará la experiencia obtenida. Liberar.
No more. Not tonight. Not like this.
Liberación
I
piadosa.
will not take another life.
It is wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go, but no famished hunter can run for long.
Ah, se quedó calcho. Otro cofre. ¿Puedo hablar?
Oh, I feel giddy.
Tengo 300 puntos, puedo hacer subir a algo. Si encuentro un coso. ¿Saber esto? Sí. A la mierda.
Mistress of the dark, stop following.
Ya esto me lo puedo comer también.
Hola, Leo.
Hola. ¿Qué estás haciendo?
¿Qué?
¿Qué estás haciendo?
No.
Ah, este estaba bloqueado, ahora está libre.
Este juego nunca lo jugás, ¿no, Leo?
Recién lo puse.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I
la
found a
mierda.
wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Ah, buenísimo.
Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane.
Dorothy.
Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been
Se llama Dorothy. Su oficina ya está. Ah, tengo
I would
algunas
like to
preguntas.
ask a few questions first.
¿Cómo está el señor Hampton? ¿Quién es el doctor? ¿Dónde está mi habitación?
And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in. How does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
¿Quién es el
What
doctor?
kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Él me conoce más que yo.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
Mierda. Ok. Eso es todo.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
¿Qué dice acá? Debido a la gripe, este hospital no puede admitir más pacientes. Hospital lleno. Regrese a casa. Qué mal.
necesito que venga. ¿Qué?
No hay nada por acá.
Que le pidas el marcador y la plasticola y me la das a mí. Dale. No, porque se van a sacar con la pues. No sé.
¿Y este quién es?
El doctor, Leo.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before at the Rockefeller University in
Ahí va.
New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember.
Tippets.
I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary
Él es el doctor,
bypasses.
no Leo.
He had nothing
Los
but
dos son
praise for
doctores.
you.
Él
He was
también.
also very
Sí.
confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
Está todo trabado. Se requiere pista. Bueno, ok.
Ay, ¿cuál es la situación?
Cuénteme sobre el
What can you
personaje.
tell me about the staff in the hospital?
De los-
Some are really good and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for
No.
slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
No hay...
Tell me more about cherished people.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
Pista disponible.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine
Sí.
practitioner.
Obtenés pistas de las
Any
personalidades
opinion
de
about the
ellos.
management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
Atrás. La situación aquí. Creo que se la legislador, ¿no?
What is the
Mira.
Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
La situación es... No tenía muchas alternativas.
I can't say I'm thrilled to be working here, but to be honest, I didn't have much of a choice.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
Do you need any medical assistance yourself, Doctor?
Come on, don't be ridiculous, dear colleague.
Ah. Presiona para... ¿Cuál es el nivel de mesmerización? Saludable.
Bueno, me voy, Leo, chao.
Chao. Si obtuve pista, ¿por qué no puedo sacar ninguna? Tendré que hablar con la otra
Goodbye,
personaje.
Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
¿Y tiene?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed, yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
A la mierda. ¿Está todo bloqueado? No. Malos recuerdos sobre su servicio.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital, instead of a burden.
Ahora mira.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Nueva pista disponible. No aprueba los métodos médicos modernos. 2600 de experiencia me podría dar. Eso me gusta. 1500, 500 de experiencia nada más. ¿Y este? 6000 de experiencia. Nice.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine.
Let's just say I'm tired of
Kelly,
modern.
Ah, puedo avanzarlo con mi cosa.
If you have a problem,
That is.
Eso es todo. ¿Listo? Esto era subida en Condor, sí. Ventas personales.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
I don't see any reason why I should justify my actions to you.
That's true, Dr. Reed. The only judge has to be yourself. The question is, are you judging yourself hard enough?
Anda cagada.
Thank you for
Mándela.
your time. We'll talk later.
Ya vas a ver cuando te saque toda la sangre. Una enfermera. ¿Se puede hablar con todos? Parece que sí.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Dorothy. ¿Dónde estás? No.
Thank you, Nurse Crane. Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland.
Strickland.
I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Todo. Cuéntame sobre este.
Please, could you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
I based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
Ah, mira vos.
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
It's always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods?
It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true.
With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together?
I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the first to recommend its use.
So you believe it's just a question of jealousy?
Dr. Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science.
Muy bonita.
Please, could
Esto
you
ya
tell
está.
me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer.
Esto ya está.
What can you tell me?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea.
Swansea.
With your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Do you need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Misión secundaria, oye. Ingredientes faltantes, nueva investigación. A ver. Los experimentos de Toro con transfusiones de sangre aún no tuvieron éxito. Y otras dos pistas más.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult
Parece un poco borracho,
I'm
más que
convinced
optimista.
that this epidemic is a test
Una
of
prueba.
endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True, true. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. Not smiling now.
¿Se habilitó uno o no? Ah, se habilitó. Acerca de la técnica de
Tell
transfusión de
me
sangre.
more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him, or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reed. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Cuéntame la
Tell me
historia.
Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Pista para FedEx.
This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of
Imparcialidad.
impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior. A man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Ok. Listo. Eso eran preguntas personales, sí. Solo una de las que...
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.